Oh, folks, Richard Moore, USAGSA. And I've got Kris Kelly with Vigilante Justice with me. He's on the West Coast. Hadn't always been on the West Coast. And he's active in all over the map with documenting and exposing corruption as well as myself, USAGSA. Been on a couple of times before. Appreciate you coming on, Kris.
Yeah, thanks, Richard.
I've got something that I want to put out there. Maybe it's a statement in regards to the current state of what's going on here in North Mississippi as it pertains to corruption, exposing corruption, and stalking by these mobs of pathetics, and my hand being forced on what is taking place today and what will be taking place in the next few days. But before I jump into it, in the description of this video, and sometimes, folks, I skip this part altogether, but I do think it's imperative that I make that real clear. The description of this video is my link tree and the ways that you can contact me. Also, there's links in there, ways you can support USAGSA. All of this is supported by our listeners, viewers, and followers. That's the deal. We're about in the business of peddling merchandise. Also, there's a link in there to my Substack where I've written extensively about these programs and their tactics. As an investigative journalist, how that constitutionally protected First Amendment right is under attack and absolutely despised by those that took an oath to protect and uphold this Constitution. These oath breakers are the ones that we want to continue to spotlight, and I will continue to spotlight, and those are the people involved in targeting myself and millions of others across this nation, including Kris. Would I be fair in that assumption, Kris?
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Mine started in Vicksburg. We can go ahead and get going.
All right. Okay. So, folks, what's taking place here in not just here in Itawamba County, Mississippi? It's taking place all over this country. It's not public safety. It's retaliation. It's pure and simple. Now, for years, I've been exposing the corruption inside this county and the counties surrounding Itawamba County. And now the Sheriff's Department, Fulton Police Department, and the little community patrol wannabes have stepped up their game. On December the 6th, that's yesterday, I confirmed without a doubt that I was being followed, civilians tailing me, and I'm going to have folks, some vehicles and tag numbers of these individuals and some of the individuals involved in this. There's some things that I'm not at liberty to talk about because of current federal litigation. And this is the alarming thing about how this obstruction and these criminal acts have continued, and not only continued, they have doubled down on their criminal game. But what I have documented is the civilians that follow me and the sheriff's units matching their return. And when I'm rolling, folks, my cameras are rolling, and I suggest to anyone else that is involved in this that you do the same thing. I've documented a coordinated stalking operation through the city of Fulton. After 20 minutes, it's yesterday confirming they were on me. Here comes the payoff. A pretext traffic stop, claiming I rolled through a stop sign. That's not law enforcement, folks. That's retaliation. And now on the top of the stalking, they're stacking bogus charges on me, accusations of stalking. Imagine that. From the very people stalking me. Here's the kicker. The warrants listen close, folks, are being signed by Justice Court Judge Harold Holcomb, a man who is personally named in my federal civil rights lawsuit. A judge who is being sued by me, signing warrants against me. It's not justice. It's not legal. And the judicial retaliation, conflict of interest, and abuse of authority. In federal language, what Holcomb is doing is called retaliatory prosecution, actual bias, obstruction of access to the courts, and he has no business touching anything with my name on it. The bigger pattern, the pattern or practice retaliation campaign involving Itawamba County Sheriff's Office, Fulton Police Department, civilians acting under the color of law, and a judge retaliating from the bench. They're using these tactics, bogus charges, intimidation, and fear tactics to shut me up. Why? Because I'm exposing them. Because I'm reporting on corruption. Because my federal civil rights case is active and moving forward. Every time my lawsuit advances, their retaliation gets worse. This is not coincidence. Of course, that's conspiracy under the color of law. Let me be crystal clear. I'm currently the plaintiff, appellate in a federal civil rights case. Any harassment, any intimidation, any bogus charges, anything done to me right now is a federal appellate issue. This is interference with my First Amendment right, my Fourth Amendment right, my rights to access to the courts, this obstruction of justice, and I'm documenting every single second at the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. Let me say it directly. Every badge, every judge, and every civilian foot soldier pathetic that's involved. You'll not intimidate me. You will not silence me, and you will not stop this case. Every move you make from this point forward goes straight into a federal record, into the Fifth Circuit, the Department of Justice, and every oversight agency watching. I'm not backing down. I'm just getting started. Stories about how a local bondsman that went to a citizen's home a couple of years back and still owes the money, according to him, on a bail bond. They take payments. We've already discussed how Corbett bail bonding does business, and this is none other than part of the underbelly of this corrupt beast. And one of the reasons why these local pathetics want to continue to retaliate. He takes and snatches a deed to this individual's property. This man and his wife, that they own this property outright. He snatches it out of their hand, takes that deed and forges their signatures and puts it in his deceased son's name. And of course, the tax assessor's office and everybody else is playing their part in this financial fraud. And somehow you can't see the physical records, and you got to go online. They dance around it, trying to make it impossible. And then what do? Well, I don't know what you do, but if you've got a prosecutor and your judges and a sheriff and everybody's on the same page with these criminals, you just let them steal your property when this is a major felony. Okay? Now, I've kept that story and a stack of other stories on ice. That's coming off the ice, ladies and gentlemen. I was under the assumption that that these individuals involved in this gamut of targeting people wanted to distance themselves from the criminal elements that I'm exposing. Not only are they not wanting to distance themselves, they're wanting to plant their shoulders, square their shoulders firmly, and say, we are what matters. We say what law counts and what law doesn't count. We decide who has civil liberties and who doesn't have civil liberties. All the while you get pulled over on some bogus bullshit and gaslighted by someone that has an IQ about a third of what they're talking to. the gaslighting and the pretend game, save that for somebody else. I have my ducks in a row. And as I continue to do that, everything that we do here is parented not just by Kris Kelly and Vigilante Justice, by other platforms, other content producers, people within our government, from the federal government and from the highest agencies all the way down to the local level. We're not alone. We've been assured in more than one way, you can believe that we're not alone. That's how we continue to get the details that they don't want you, of course, me to have, and thus not wanting you to have. So, Kris, now I got that out of the way. You've got some things going on right now with your own legal challenges are taking these people to task. Now, I know there's some things a lot that you can't talk about, but talk about what you can talk about, all right?
Yeah, absolutely, Richard. I just backing on your story there, it actually makes some good points. I didn't know a whole lot about this stuff until I got into it, and then I kind of knew who you were just finding you on YouTube. After watching your shows, we met up, obviously, because I went through the same thing. And it's just interesting, hearing your story, because you're about maybe, I don't know how many months ahead, but you're definitely ahead of where I am right now. But I'm seeing the same patterns. So everything you talk about, they repeat down in Vicksburg. And what's really interesting about this is exactly what you said. It's not just me and you, it's the entire nation. There's so many people now online, on the news, everywhere that have spoke up about this. All these people are doing at this point is trying to CYA. They're covering your ass, as in their ass, not yours. Right. So they don't care about what's going on with us at this point. When you're recording them, which is what I'm doing too, that's just data for later on when we take it to court and whatnot. We don't have to get into all that. But I do want to bring up a good point. I took mine to a liability coordinator. So for the municipality, it was the Nate Gaines was his name. It's Nate with a Gaenz is his last name. Gaines. And he's a liability coordinator for the municipality down there. So when I had a lawsuit, or I thought I did, I took it to him first. So I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't have a lawyer. So the city had given me access to him to give my testimony. Well, I did that thinking that was going to help me get my financials back from what happened with Officer Cleon Butler in Vicksburg. We had gone over that before.
Yeah, that's right.
However, yeah, so come to find out, they took the testimony and now they're using it against me, and they're going to probably use it in the court, which, I'll deal with that on my own. But that's the kind of stuff right there. What they do, they're always trying to CYA. They don't care.
Well, not only that is immediately they for their public presence persona, they want to capitalize on their lie, their talking points. In other words, they don't ever want to talk about the people that have been framed and set up and that have suffered from wrongful convictions off of concocted bullshit by law enforcement. They want to talk about the conviction. They want to talk about schizophrenia. Let's go with that. In other words, that made up diagnosis. And I love people want to bring that up. And I said, well, let's have a spelling bee. Why don't you spell that? Because if you can't spell it, you shouldn't be blabbing it. And exactly what does it mean? What can you tell us about this fake ass schizophrenia deal that they want to tie? And then for some reason, that's the silver bullet on marginalizing masses of American citizens, violating their constitutional rights, locking them up at will on made up charges. And somehow this is okay. It's not okay. What's your take on this schizophrenia bullshit?
Yeah, that's a good point too. I did a lot of forensics on my case. I'm pretty much the point where you have all the papers there. I'm building mine. So mine's pretty much done at this point. But I was able to find the actual doctor that started all of this, and it was in Mississippi. It's Precise Neuroscience. I went there to see a therapist. I think she was a or not an RN, is I can't think of the name right now, but she's not like an actual psychiatrist. Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
Nurse practitioner.
and they, in Mississippi, they hear them tell it they're qualified to do everything, including brain surgery. But
Yeah.
reality, they are qualified to take your temperature and give you an enema. But go ahead.
Yeah, so she's the one that put that diagnosis on there with the diagnosis code and everything. Schizophrenia. Didn't even tell me about it. She just
Right.
dropped it in there, and then that's what started everything. After that, that's when Cleon Butler got involved, the police got involved, and everything, everything I did, like my rights were taken
So
away.
she put this
Everything.
schizophrenia in there, and so how easy is this? So what you're saying is this possible that that this dynamic of this holistic approach to policing? This is everybody does their part. This is where mental health steps in. So we don't want to see our crazy people in jails. We want to see them in therapy and stuff like this. And this community stalking is not about solving crimes. It's about changing behavior and all this psychobabble. What it's about is this Stasi program of torturing and killing people and driving them to suicide, like the veterans of 22 a day. And you're a veteran, you know what I'm talking about. How easy, in other words, if you go to the dentist and there's a typo and schizophrenia makes it into the spell correction, from that point, what happens to this individual once that goes into their medical record, even by accident or by somebody that's not qualified to diagnose anybody like the nurse practitioner? What happens after that?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I mean. That's once that started, that's what kicked it all off. That's what got Cleon Butler involved. That's what got everybody involved, even the next mental health practitioner that I saw after that.
Is this one of the keys to getting a person on a list to be targeted? Yeah. Is once somebody puts in this schizophrenia deal into the deal?
I think so, but I think there's also two sides of this. I think there's people that are because they're looking for dirt, right? So in your case, they're pulling you over. They're looking for something.
It was plant coordinate yesterday, like every other time. They were sitting there cloaking, playing. I'm recording all this. Well, I'm making these maneuvers. Yeah, they're sitting there. What the fuck they think I'm doing? I know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm documenting what the fuck they're doing because I'm gonna swing for the fences, folks. I'm gonna keep swinging for the fences. And this year is going to be this upcoming year, folks, is going to be a bell ringer. I will trust me on that one, a bell ringer, because the coffers will be open and there will be no expense spared. And making this point that I make, and I believe they're well aware of exactly what I'm talking about. Go ahead, Kris.
Yeah, I think that we'll get back to that actually. So the mental health thing for me, I don't have a criminal record. So they had to find something, and I do see psychiatrists and psychologists for my PTSD. So I guess that was their easy access. So for me, excuse me, Richard, sorry. For me, I think it was just about getting some kind of mental health statement on there so that they could actually get a police officer and this community policing program to actually monitor me because they didn't have anything. There was no dirt. That was the only thing they could think of. So they put that mental health diagnosis on there. And I mean, it's even affected me up here in Washington. So I think you saw, I actually sent out an advisory notice to all the Mississippi police, everybody in Mississippi. Right. I got to the point where just, I can't get the records and everything down there that haunts me from Mississippi. Okay, I can't get the records and everything from Mississippi to stop bothering me up here in Washington. So the only option I had was to go ahead and set up an advisory notice, and then I started working on creating a lawsuit for what's going on down there in Mississippi. I highly agree with what Richard's saying. I think that this has been going on for a long time. Richard's been going through it a lot longer than I have, but I think that it's time. It's time for America to understand what's going on. I think that Richard, he's been a voice for quite some time, and I think it's finally coming out to the light. And what's interesting about all this is that the police and the doctors and everything, they still think they're not being caught. They're caught red-handed. So when they go up there, they pull you over. They know they're on video. I mean, I don't know how stupid these people.
They're banking on the rest of the process remaining on their side, remaining corrupt. They're banking on dragging you psychologically, dragging you financially, and every
Yeah, we can't do that
and they're
federally.
banking on something that uh, that they shouldn't be banking on so close, and that's qualified and judicial immunity. Okay, that's out the window on the case that I'm talking about here, and those that are involved in that. And if they don't believe it's out the window, then they may want to holler at the county attorney and those involved, and they're uh, will be put on notice within the next 24 hours. Just know that multiple federal agencies have the things that I've talked about here in the last 20 minutes. They've already been put on notice, and they've already been given data and a very stern complaint. That I'm satisfied that those the nature of these complaints, there's not a question will they or will they not investigate, or will an investigation be open. There's no question about whether or not it will be investigated. It will be investigated. Not only will it be investigated, it is being investigated. Your background, we haven't talked about that a lot, but how long were you in the military?
Yeah. That's a good point too. So I did about 11 years. Well, I was really not in the military. I was a contractor for the military, but
Okay.
about 11 years deployed. Not all of that was we call it OCONUS. That means like outside continental US, so worldwide. Probably half of that decade was about worldwide, and the rest of it was all inside the United States.
And
But I was
what kind
always
of work
working.
do you, what kind of work did you do?
Sure. So I guess the easiest term for everybody else to hear is a geospatial analyst. I did mapping, cartography. We just scanned the earth, but back then there wasn't drones. That's how old I am. We just had aircraft. So I'd go out and make maps of buildings and, places, large scan areas, things like that. But I was working with some pretty heavy up military agents. I went to Afghanistan. I went to all over the Middle East, Africa, Central America, all over the place, man. Southeast Asia, just everywhere. And I learned a lot. I'm really, actually, that's a good point, is that I'm pretty inept in surveillance, military surveillance at that. So, when these police started messing around with
For
me, I guess
instance,
they
so
didn't do their.
what kind of surveillance are you talking about? Are you talking
Well, the
about?
surveillance. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, you go ahead.
The surveillance I did with the military, that's a little different than the surveillance I'm doing now. But the surveillance with the military, I can't really get into too much
Right,
detail
right.
about it. But yeah, no, we basically, what I did, man, I was in the back of an aircraft, and I just worked out of an aircraft most of the time I was deployed. And I lost I guess I didn't lose my clearance, but I quit doing it in 2017, about 2016, 2017. I just got burned out. A person can only deploy so long and not be in America, be themselves. I couldn't be myself here in America, so
Right.
got tired of it. I jumped off the ship, and my clearance would have ended like a few years later, but I got to the point where I couldn't take it anymore. So I went into the cannabis industry.
Yeah.
That's where I started working, and I've been pretty happy ever since then with
Yeah.
that choice and that career. Yeah.
So,
Um,
you when you hear about this, people are talking about the technologies that are being used illegally to surveil Americans illegally. Does any of that sound familiar? Are you familiar with?
yes.
Okay, that's
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think that's one thing that really triggers me is that I see a lot of what I saw overseas over here, especially in Mississippi. And
being used against.
here's a,
Okay,
yeah, you being used against American citizens like
hmm.
myself. So that's a
Illegally.
problem. Oh yeah, definitely. It should.
There's no, folks. We're talking about no warrants, no court orders, uh, no judicial oversight, but the judicial process. Those involved in it are very well aware of it. I've talked about this
Yep.
before, Kris, that people are understanding this as these agencies use these drones and so forth, and then they're posted up around the clock. What are they doing? They're listening and watching everything you do, and people obviously seem to take issue with that. I take issue with that. And then if someone is doing something illegal, well, they don't use any aspect of this illegal surveillance in part of the process. What they simply do is mirror that and set up the bogus everything and make the chips fall where they may, all based on illegal data, because they know if it goes into a courtroom and your attorney sellout had made the deal and you force their hand, I want to go to trial. These things will never come out in trial because they have to toss the case because it was in a violation of your rights of getting this stuff without a warrant, etc. So they get the crash dummy rats and snitches to sign statements and to do whatever they tell them to do, and as a lucky charm to that, they get to keep doing what they do, especially those American citizens that are targeted. They'll have them sabotage their home, their vehicles, their jobs, and steal, rob, cheat, lie. All those things are on the table. That's what they're operating within. Only to have the fake news, the local Times, or whatever to print that arrest and to talk about the bullshit that they want to talk about, but they will not talk about the real bullshit. And that's what we're talking about. I think it's absolutely deplorable that this is. Kris, would you agree that that this is the deep state is what we're talking about?
Yeah, this is a war on the people. This is a war absolutely 100% on
Carried
American
out by the
citizens.
good old boys that you like. Yeah, God bless them. Right down here, down the street. Go ahead.
Yeah. And the biggest problem is that they think that this, I mean, there's no legality behind this whatsoever. Even if you had a warrant on somebody, you still can't do half the shit that you're doing. And then on top of that, man, like my case especially, I have them crossing state lines. So when you do that, you open up a can of worms.
And they know that.
That's real.
Right. And I've
Yeah.
documented
Yeah.
that as
So
well. And millions of Americans are documenting this, folks. And you know what
yeah.
they're saying,
Yeah.
Kris, that I had Boston 2%, the author of the Meth Bible. I'm having back on. We had some technical difficulties. And he was this surge of interest in his book, #1 bestseller in that particular category at Amazon, and that his page on Facebook alone in the last just here recently has gotten over 15 million views. And he and I were talking. He said, you know, I'm talking to people all over the planet. They're experiencing these things, these different things that you and I are talking about, the things that he's talking about. All of it is relevant, believe it or not. And he says, and it's the same thing. So they'd have you believe that it's some type of mass psychosis. You know, that's acknowledged
Right.
it's a psychosis, and they believe this. They all believe the same damn thing. You know, they all give, you know, and they're speaking different languages. They're in different countries, but they're saying the same thing. And
Right.
happy-go-lucky morons are buying this crap. But for those that are a little more enlightened, are not buying it.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, and it's finally coming to light. You know, there's people out there now. I talk to normal everyday people who've never been through this, which is it never happened in my life, man. Well, in the last few years since I started getting stalked, I guess nobody ever believed anything I said except for me and you. We were the only ones talking about
Yeah.
it. And then all of a sudden, all these people came out. You know, and,
Right.
yeah. Go ahead.
Folks, you don't need any validation, but for those that are experiencing the crazy shit, you know, the circus came to town, they never left. And these people are doing this. They think it's comical. They think that this infallible, bulletproof, indestructible. And I'm got my hedging my bet that they're wrong on those things. And what it takes is for somebody that's not afraid to speak up and to speak out, come hell or high water. I happen to be one of them. I'm one of thousands that are doing it. You're going to continue doing it. Now, a lot of people, Kris, are whistleblowers, and they're being targeted by people that blow other things other than whistles. And maybe they'll stick to what they blow best. But your past with your military experience and working as a contractor, being in the military and all that, have you had any close encounters with other private contractors or military agencies or like the Army Corps of Engineers or DARPA or anything like that? Because when you come
yeah, definitely. I've had connections with them for sure in the past, and I've always wondered if that was part of the connection. I don't want to drag anybody
I don't want
into
to step out there. I'm just helping other people.
Yeah, no,
I've
got connections with them for sure. Well, what's interesting about that is that where I was hurt in Vicksburg, Mississippi, I was literally about 20 feet away from the front gate to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Engineering Research and Development Center. So ERDIC is what they call it. So I've always, and my folks, they're Army Corps, and I've got strong connections with the military for sure. And, a lot of the civilian army as well. So I've always thought maybe that has something to do with it. I am blowing the whistle, and I know what people do to people that blow the whistle in the military, and it's not pretty. So that's a really good point, and also I want to feed off that, because a lot of people that I talk to online, they're really scared. They're kind of in the position I was in. Don't talk about it. Don't say anything. If you say something, they're going to come get you. Sure, they're going to come get you no matter what. Yeah. 100%, you're already stuck in this. If you don't speak up, you're going to get something bad's going to happen, because I can guarantee you that everything that I did, documenting all the stuff, the video stuff you're doing, all that, whether you use it or not, doesn't matter. What matters is that you take it and you put it on a hard drive, you secure it, because you might need it 3-4
you better believe it.
So definitely everybody out there, everybody out there that's going through this, I hear you, I feel for you. 100%, you got to record it, and you got to speak up. If you don't speak up and you're quiet, that's where they want you. They want you to be a sitting duck. So
they do. And to have your evidence, folks, and people have got it, they don't know what to do with it. Well, you've got to do something with it. And these are the things that must dovetail into these complaints, and these complaints have to be they have to go to the right places, and it has to be done the right way, or you're going to be dismissed. So that's they throw in all the stupid shit to have you marginalized and dismissed. And remember, chances are they've got you pegged as brother schizophrenic. So we got to assume that they're just crazy as hell, and so therefore they don't have any rights. And folks, the last time I checked, it doesn't matter how crazy somebody is, they still have constitutional rights. Okay, and if somebody is crazy and you're harassing and intimidating and torturing and stealing and robbing someone that has a disability that you claim that they have, that's written down, then is that an ADA issue at this point, Kris?
Yeah, definitely. I've got man, I wish I had my sheet in front of me, but I've got ADA all over it. That's for sure. Definitely 100%. I'm suing Mississippi for ADA.
So this is American with Disabilities Act, folks, and so as they continue to use their narrative of an excuse, fill in the blank, and they want to throw that in there, even if they throw that in as a side note, that side note becomes the main subject here. We have an ADA complaint, and unless they amend and repeal the Americans with Disability Act and start painting over these blue parking spots and the placards and all the things that are done to protect Americans with disabilities. If they repeal that, then they may have a chance, but they're going to have to repeal the Constitution. But this is their workaround. They throw everything they've got, every different direction, to have that individual that they're targeting seem just absolutely just bonkers. But some people refuse to chomp onto that damn narrative, and they zero in, and that's what we're doing here. And so you're moving forward, Kris, with taking these agencies at task, these criminals with badges, because you had under the color of law trying to kill you. Am I right? Is that a fair assertion?
Yeah. So the people that I'm going to go after, all the companies as well, Vicksburg Police Department's one, River Ridge Behavioral Health, they're going under too. And then I'm not going to get into details about the actual people, but there are some citizens that are going to get brought up into this because of the community policing program. So that's part of it. There's a lot of federal grant misuse. Pretty much everything I've been talking about and preaching is going in that lawsuit. So, again, like if everybody hears, I know there's a lot of people watching this, and I know a lot of people are still down here where I was at one point in time. You gotta get up here. In order to get this to go away, you gotta get up here. And in order to do that, you have to come forward. There's no other way.
Come forward. And there's so many people that've got stories, and that have got not just stories, but they've got the goods. They've got the goods, and nobody's gonna on these. And unless you're willing to step up there and be a red-blooded American and not a yellow-bellied coward, more Americans will continue to be deprived of the things that hundreds of thousands of men and women have died and bled out to keep. And we'll continue to see the Islam taking over cities. We'll continue to see the purple and green-haired freaks spit in the face of law enforcement. And it makes you wonder, said, well, I understand your hostilities. If you come to this country and you hate it, you need to get the hell out of it. I don't hate my country. Matter of fact, I'll die and put my life on the line for that Constitution, not just for me, but for you. And apparently that is offensive to those that want to violate that Constitution, because somehow in their mind, well, that's not what we're doing. Okay, that's and of course any criminal is going to come up with that bullshit line. And so you encourage these people to come forward, don't you, Kris?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you remember when we first started talking, Richard, how scared I was?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I see these people. I talk to a lot of people online and they just want help. I get it.
I remember that. I remember of you.
I was scared. I was scared
to show your face. And
I was scared shitless, man. I was gonna go with a mask. I've got people
that don't want to show their face, that they don't want to give their name and all that. So you know what? Folks, let me tell you, I'm not going I understand it. I get that. But it's hard for me to present a ghost or a spook when we're dealing with so many people that want to be ghosts or spooks. And so that's why I've got you on here, Kris, and I continue to get people on here. So, this is not something that's just drummed the fuck up so that we can talk about, because we're pissed off because a bunch of fat bitches with beards and Hondas want to color or coordinate against them at a damn Dollar General. Is that part of it? Sure it is. It takes a whole world of ass clowns and nasties to make this thing work. And I just did one on this nasty bitch down there at this garage that committed credit card fraud. And I'm gonna have to take them to task criminally, and that is in the works. That's in the works. What they should have done is they shouldn't have done that. This is coincided with the fact that Corbett Bonding, the bail bonding company, all these people that participate in this thing did thousands of dollars worth of damage on some bullshit that That's a judge that's on a federal lawsuit. His name's all over the deal. And of course, they want to deflect and put it on something else. They have currently been sued. This is in circuit court. Hadn't got a court date yet, but they've been served, and I'm going to take them to task. Should I have to do that? No, it shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't be happening. All this was based around a fraudulent, bogus deal in the first place. But the victim has to keep worrying about criminals with badges and criminals on the bench back in the play of their teammates to shut somebody up that dare expose their crimes. I'm going to let you bring us out of the deal here, Kris. I ain't let you talk much, but
no, you're good. Yeah. No, everything you said, I'm on par 100%. I think that just to make it clear, I just want to reiterate. I know I keep on beating a dead horse here, but I just keep on thinking of myself back then, before I really came out of my shell. And I just want to be clear. You don't have to go on the news, people. You just got to document this. You got to record it. You got to keep your data. I know that so for instance, when I first started doing this, I was really bad at keeping my own personal data. I just, I wasn't organized or anything like that. That's what they want. They want somebody that doesn't know what the hell's going on.
Right.
Just going to sit there like a goose and then get shot. That's what's going to happen.
Right.
So, I mean, you're not going to get shot, but you know what I mean? So basically, 100%. If you guys feel
they'll kill. They got no problem with killing people.
They'll kill you. Yeah. They tried to kill me.
Marion Thomas.
And then
what about him?
And yeah, exactly. And then once you're so deep into it, like me and you are, then they do everything they can to basically just take away your rights, probably try to kill you. There's going to be all kinds of bad things happening.
Yeah.
So you gotta make sure. And then, like where we're at now, I could be bringing up something from 2 years ago that I would have never remembered, but I have a document on it. And it could have been some document or email I sent to somebody that nobody ever read, But it makes sense today. So, 100%.
We're going to get this published today. And so and we know from the metadata that folks, whether you're subscribed or not, it's the metadata shows us who is seeing what. Okay, that's the deal. That's nobody is. You're not near as hidden as you believe that you are. And so this is this show today is not just for you, Kris, but for myself and for those involved in this deal. This is your notice. You've been served with notice of a preservation of evidence. And this is everything from your call records and everything. And these notices of preservation are being sent out again to the people that I've mentioned. And I'm sure that you've done the same thing. If you had, I suggest that you do it. These people need to understand that the day of, well, we don't have it, or that got deleted or whatever, that's not acceptable. And you've already had issues with them deleting things, hadn't you? Or trying to.
Yeah. They're always trying to cover something up, man. And no matter what, it's like, what's interesting about it is that I can basically see it coming. I can see the abuse coming now. So I know ahead of time how they're going to screw up. So I can just record off of that.
Right.
But and also like going and getting your HIPAA records, they're going to doctor those up. So when you go get those, go in person, get this stuff, get all of that information and put it in one secure drive, maybe make a backup, throw it in a storage unit somewhere. Right. That's how crazy this stuff really is.
Folks, let me tell you, you just realize that the links that these people will go to. Okay.
Oh yeah, totally. Because there's millions of dollars.
So they're sitting there. Well, what? Well, prove it to me. They're so bold, and they think that you can't. They think that you can't because they believe their own bullshit. They do. They're caught. Like the damn Kool-Aid. They believe, well, they just no way. Well, I'm telling you, folks, that this old boy here ain't tapping out. Period. I've spent too much time and grief and money and mental anguish and the pain and suffering of having to expose these people, and the thought of me laying down and playing nice with a bunch of damn oath-breaking criminals is you've got another thing coming. That's not what's going to happen. That's not on the menu.
Yeah, same here. Yeah,
and of course, I appreciate you, Kris. So, folks, you know whatever we're doing here, Kris is he's been a real instrumental in the background of doing a lot of things, research and documentation, that a lot of things that I'm talking about on there, and as I just want everybody to know that when you support what I'm doing, you support what Kris is doing on his platforms. That we're not working alone. We are not working alone. There's several people. There are several people, from journalists to members of law enforcement. It takes a lot of things to do. When I go on the air and I'm talking about things, you can rest assured, like I said before, we've got our ducks in a row, and we're not just talking about things that we read on social media or something that we think. We're not doing that. Parting words, Kris.
Yeah. Oh boy, man, I have so many of them, but I would like to say one thing for the people down there in Mississippi that are still suffering. Hold on tight, because it's coming. We're about to go gung ho on these folks. So protect yourselves at all costs. Yeah. Don't let these people harass you any longer.
Yeah,
the time has come for them to lesson. Yeah, document it all.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Richard.
Look, I appreciate you, and we're gonna have Kris back. I should have had him back on earlier, but you know, it is what it is. But I want to get updates on what's going on, because we're gonna see this thing through, folks. We're gonna see it through. So if you're not subscribed, I encourage you to subscribe, and we rely on our viewers to share. And when you think you have shared this content everywhere you can share it, then share it again. And your support is essential. Your prayers, your financial support. Without that, we wouldn't be here. So, folks, until next time, God bless you.